Hello. My contribution to Divining Dante is a trio of Terzerima sonnets in which I try to blur the line between translation and original work by freely retelling one of my favorite episodes from each canticle of the Commedia. One of the things that has always amused me about Dante the character is how often he gets the souls he encounters to tell their stories by casually saying, "Ma dimmi," but tell me, and then proceeding to ask some pointed question. And each of my sonnets uses one of those pointed questions as an epigraph. The first one is a retelling of Francesca's famous monologue from Canto 5 of the Inferno, in which she describes how her affair with Paolo began. The second sonnet expands on Dante's run-in in Canto 4 of Purgatory with Bellacqua, his famously lazy friend, who has been identified with a real-life Florentine musician and instrument maker. And the last sonnet reprises his encounter with Piccarda Donati from the third canto of Paradiso, in which he asks her, in essence, whether she wouldn't rather have a higher place in heaven. These three moments in the Commedia have always seemed to me to cast meaningful light on the three realms in which they're spoken, and I've tried to bring out that in my versions. And in my versions, at least, these scenes are also all in different ways about translation. Enough with the preamble. So tell me, part one, how did it all begin? Ma dimmi, al tempo di dolci sospiri, a che e come concedete amore che conosceste I dubbiosi disiri? Inferno 5, 118 to 120. The book was old, and we, perhaps, too young. Its story had been written, and somehow this seemed important in a foreign tongue. It's true, by the way. You may feel awful now, but if you summon happy memories back, you'll feel worse still. But since you long to know. One day we met to talk about the book, which both of us had read. We were alone. Discussing the kissing scene was all it took. Our will, by then, was something not our own, climbing and changing us as roses refashion arbors or notes blank staves, tone by sweet tone. As for the book, that author of our passion, we closed it then to make a free translation. Part 2. What are you waiting for? Ma dimmi, perché assiso chirito se? Attendi tu scorta, o per lo modo usato t'ha ripreso? Purgatory 4, 124 to 126. Why bother now continuing to climb? Let others climb who have the energy. I'll sit right here till I've served my time. Between lost youth and far senility stretches the cage-like silence of these ages. If only I'd brought my fiddle for company. Instead, I recall old music, passages scored in my brain. I close my eyes and sway, hearing each string, feeling their varied gauges, becoming them, till I am no longer player, but fiddle, instrument being tuned, shriven of discord, readied for some bow to lay its body down on mine. Maybe even I, then, will be translated into heaven. Part 3. Is heaven even enough? Ma dimmi, voi che siete qui felici, desiderate voi più alto loco per più vedere e per più farvi amici. Paradiso 3, 64 to 66. My will these days is soothed by the caress of love's voice, which allows me to desire exactly what I have, no more, no less. For if the place I craved were any higher, then my desire would fail to harmonize with that high voice whose will has sung me here. You'll hear from me no discontented sighs. I long to sing my part in love's chorale, for love is willed I won't live otherwise, and love's song brings, when I can hear at all, this peace. Its lyrics are an ancient language, arcane in meaning. In the original, one noun means love as charity as longing. But no one translates. You learn it in the singing.